Hi guys, and welcome back to another fly tying tutorial. The fly you see in the vise is something I call back in black. So without further ado, let's get into it. The hook in the vise then is a Hackle H230 barbless hook. This one's at size 12, it's on a medium wire and finished in black nickel. The thread I'm going to be using today is from Trout line. It's at 50 denier and it's the sumo thread in black. Now, first thing, as always, with the black nickel finished Hackle hooks, I like to get a layer of super glue onto the shank of the hook, and I'm going to use my silk just to spread that up and down the shank before laying down a bed. Now, I recently reached the magical 20k on this platform. Very pleased, and I've got some bits and bobs to be giving away, and once I've sorted them out and they've all arrived, I'll be doing a live so that I can give some people some fly tying packs and various bits and bobs. So if you've not subscribed already, please do. It'll be worth your while, I hope. First thing I'm going to do is add the tailing fibres, and I'm using this dyed black grizzle cape, and I did have a feather on my bench. There we go. I knew I had one I'd been using already, and I'm just going to grab a dozen or so fibres from the stem. Now, with these style of flies, I like to use fibres off a cock cape as my tailing rather than pheasant tail, and the reason for that is the pheasant tail fibres are pretty brittle, and once they've been hit a few times by trout, they tend to just snap off, so they're not serving any purpose. It makes the fly look a little bit better when you're initially tying it, but once you start fishing with these flies, if I'd used pheasant tail, that would just go and you'd end up with like a little buzzer type nymph. So for the rib, I'm using some of this stuff there. I've used it in videos before. It's called Magic Tinsel, and this is a combo pack. It comes in two sizes, if I could just see them. One's thin and one's thick. Let's put it that way. Now the thing it does, there is an instruction on the back which you won't be able to see because I'm zoomed right into the fly. But what you can do with this stuff is pull it gently and it will stretch to the size you want. Now this one's black, and if you look at both sides, and I want to show you this and point it out. Now I'm going to use what I suppose would be termed as the correct side for this fly, but don't be shy in turning it round and using the black. I've had quite a bit of success on flies using the black as well. So I'm just going to tie it with the right side down onto the shank, and I'll get that trapped in. Now I need to make sure this is trapped in properly because I do want to stretch it out a bit. So I've got that in place. I'll see if I can tuck it behind my handle, stop it springing back. Nope, I can't. So anyway, let's get on with it. I've got a pheasant tail here. It's been dyed black, and I'm just going to take 3 to 4 fibres off of that. Now with pheasant tail, before I tie it in, I like to just take away the pointy bits at the end here. I don't want them breaking. They're quite brittle and they can ruin your day if you've just tied in the tips. And I knew that rib would get on my nerves. Try and hold it out the way. Now the reason I'm showing you this pattern at this time of year is it really is a bit of a hidden gem of mine. So obviously this time of year you're looking at the sort of popper fry patterns, floating fry imitations, shrimps perhaps, but this fly has consistently scored for me late September and early October, and what I do is I'll fish it in between colour. So I'll have like a booby on the point. Sorry, I'm stalling now, trying to find my hackle pliers. Here they are. A booby on the point and maybe a blob on the top dropper, and then I'll have some darker patterns such as cormorants or dial backs or this cruncher in between. And the last few times I've been out on the water, this has done me particularly well in the middle, where a lot of my friends are struggling to get anything to take their dropper flies. I've always managed to pick up the odd bonus fish using this. So I'm just using the rotary function to wrap up my body, and then I can bring my thread around and secure that into place. Once I've got it trapped in there, I can simply remove the excess. Now, as I said, with the magic tinsel here, what you've got to do, or you don't have to, I could just take it round at the width it is in, but I like to stretch it out. I don't like it being as thick as it is, so I'm going to stretch out a bit, and then I'm going to bring it over. What I want to do really is have 3 turns of the magic tinsel as the rib. Even though I'm going to come over 4 times, most of this bit will be covered up by the thorax, which we'll be tying in a moment. So the end of the trout season is upon us, and I'll be certainly turning my attention to grayling flies and stuff in the months to come. I like to get on the rivers when I can to fish for the grayling, which provide fantastic sport in the colder months. Now I've got some peacock herring here, and I'm going to take 2 strands of the peacock herring, and again it is quite a brittle material, so I'm just going to take off the tips before I tie it in, just to prevent any breakages, and even then it still breaks sometimes. So I'll bring my thread to I'm trying to keep my thread slightly back because I've still got a tie in my hackle, so keep the thread slightly back, and then I can start bringing my peacock herring round to create my thorax. Now the thing with these kind of flies is the proportions are all important, and that's probably one of the hardest things if you're just starting out with fly tying. The reason your flies don't look good is because you've not got the proportions right. And a general rule of thumb is less is more. So whatever material you've got in your hand and you think you're going to need, you probably need about half of that. And that's what will bring your fly tying on in leaps and bounds. Getting the proportions right. So there we've got our nympho stage, if you like, and I'm just going to add the wing. Now, for normal crunchers, people use various different sort of capes. On this occasion, I'm using what's left of this hen hackle, and there goes another casualty. And it's got some nice, and it's really black. It's a jet black hackle. I've already selected a feather. I've cleaned off all the rubbish from the bottom, and I'm left with my feather here. Now I want to create a little Christmas tree effect with my hackle pliers. I'll just grab that and catch it in. I'm sorry it's not in focus, but obviously the fly is my main concern. But if I show it up now, you can see I've got like a little Christmas tree going on. Now I don't want that big tag at the front, so I'll remove just off camera the tag, and then I'll catch that in at the front. Try and just get everything out the way of the eye, and I'll have time to tidy that up, and then I can grab my hackle pliers and start to wind the hackle. It's not sitting how I wanted it. I'm just going to come back. I want it to go the other way. That's better. Now it's up to you. I like to have quite a heavy hackle on this fly. Because it's hen, it's going to move about in the water, so if you're doing quite a jerky retrieve, or even a figure of 8, it'll pulse in the water and you'll get quite a lot of movement with it. So I use quite a lot of the feather for this. I'm just trapping it in place. I'm going to let go my hackle pliers, and although it looks like a hot mess at the moment, it's going to come good in a second. So I'll just grab everything. I've damped down my fingers, and I do see a little bit of tag drifting out there. Try and catch that in, and then I can start to build my head. Now before I come in with a whip finish tool, I can simply grab what's left of the hen hackle and pull it away. Just caught the tip of the hook there with my finger. That was not pleasant. That's looking not too bad. So next thing, you can grab your whip finish tool, or if you're still using your fingers, finish that off, and then come in with your scissors and take away your thread. Now if you just press down on the hackle, it'll behave for you a bit. Now I'm just doing this to get it out of the way of the head, and then I can come in with my toothbrush just to tidy up and open out the fibres of the hackle. There's no need to buy expensive brushes, you know, this is just an old toothbrush I've cut down for use on my fly tying bench. Then to finish this one off, I'm simply going to use super glue, because I came into my fly tying room this morning and all my resins were frozen stiff for the frost last night. So just get a touch of super glue on the head to finish it. Careful trying not to touch any of the feathers, because it'll just suck up the super glue and it'll go brittle, and you won't get that movement if you get super glue all over the feathers. Now just to finish off, I'm going to make sure, I don't think I did anyway, but I'm going to just grab the tip of the cock feather that I used for the tail, and I'm going to put it through the eye of the hook. That just clears out any super glue, so when you come to tie it on, you're not sitting on the bank or in a boat bouncing about or getting blown all over the place trying to thread a hook through a gunked up eye. And there we go. So I'll sort out the packs for the giveaway, and if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing so, and please remember to give the video a like, and I'll see you all in the next one.